Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section 4 Dispute Resolution. And today I get to talk to fellow American all the way over on the other side of the Atlantic. This is John McCorvey. John, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for being brave enough to sign up for an idle chat with me.
Oh, my pleasure. It sounds fun.
It is fun. It really, really is fun. So John, the way this works is I've got about 100, I guess, 20, 25, 30 questions that I've written up on these cards, and we shuffle them up, or rather I shuffle them up, and the cards will dictate the topic of our conversation. You all right with that?
It sounds a little mystical.
The suspense is killing us, right?
That's right.
All right, don't be nervous. Let's see, the first card. John, what always cheers you up?
A good laugh. Don't we need to laugh more? You know, lightheartedness, good times, laughing, whether it be with your friends, with your dog, with your family, whoever. Just laughter. Laughter cheers me up.
Amen. Choose happiness.
Absolutely.
Yep. Watch all those cat videos on YouTube before you go to sleep at night. You'll sleep much better.
Well, you may find out I'm a dog guy. So there's a lot of goofy dog videos too. There's no shortage of goofball dogs out there, including my own.
I've got a dorpy redhead that lives in my house. I feel you. All right. John, what sound or noise do you really love?
Oh gosh, you know, I put on my earbuds almost every night, usually while I'm walking. But even if I don't walk, I just love to listen to music. And I guess I'm like most people, I like to listen to the music that I remember from my era, so to speak. So I listen to a lot of late 70s, 80s rock, because that kind of gets you going when you're walking. Everything from AC/DC, The Who, the Rolling Stones, Joan Jett, just all those energetic Led Zeppelin. But I cherry pick it. I don't, you know, I'm not a metal head per se. Each of those bands do have melodic tunes, believe it or not. It's not all just screaming into a microphone. And so, you know, I like that. It just, I find it very relaxing. Bob Seger, just, it just takes me away. It takes me away. Those lyrics take me to another time, maybe when there was a little easier, a little less responsibility. And I just enjoy that in the evening.
I agree. That's my kind of music too. And I think it's because you're right. You hear it and you associate it with those happy days, those happy moments of being a young person. And you know all the lyrics, and you remember when MTV came out, and you remember the first videos. And yeah, it is nostalgic and a little bit goofy, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm on Team John with that one. John, next question. Do you have a green thumb?
Not really. I love to look at flowers. I think they're beautiful, and I think all manner of plants are beautiful. And I like to spend time outdoors, typically on the water fishing, but I can also appreciate parks and, you know, the flowers and the fauna and all. And but I've never really spent time testing whether I have a green thumb. I made a weak attempt at illicit activity in my teens with plants, and that didn't work out. So that's my only earnest effort to grow anything. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy them. I'll take pictures of them and you know, love them in my backyard. In fact, our instruction to our landscaper was, we want something that is easy, hard to kill, and something's always in bloom. And so that's kind of the backyard I have. And I love that. I love that.
John, have you ever cut your own hair?
No, not that I remember. I've had a few botched haircuts, and my mom didn't hesitate to tell me. She told me one time as a kid, every now and then my dad would get a hold of me. My mom was a woman of fine taste and decorum, and my dad was not. He was just out of the Navy, and he took me to a candy stripe. My mom had taken me to a salon because I had a lot of thick hair when I was a kid. Still have pretty thick hair. And, you know, she wanted it cut a certain way. She kind of dominated that aspect of my life at that age. And Dad took me to a candy striper who buzz cut me. And Mom told me I looked like Charlie Brown. I was a blockhead that looked like Charlie Brown when I got home from that haircut. So she didn't exactly get her glowing endorsement. So we avoided the candy stripers after that.
Right. That's funny. I remember the boys in my hometown, they were called summer cuts. And about this time of year, everybody went in and got the really short crew cut for the summertime, so that
I think it's great. I think it's great. Obviously, we live in a time now where, you know, anything goes as far as the hair. I guess the 60s made that transition. And, you know, I think you see all kinds of hair in traditional workplaces. I mean, you'll see guys with man buns in law offices. So it's a different time. You know, the old guys though, they were, you know, high and tight. Don't let that hair touch those ears.
or your collar.
Well, you're right, your collar. And I went to a private high school where there were hair police.
Yeah, yes, I remember that. I remember that. All right, John, next card. Now this one's divisive, so I will warn you in advance.
Hit me.
Does pineapple have any business being on a piece of pizza?
Yes. And you know, you're right. That is very divisive, and it requires that it's done the right way. You don't just throw it on a normal pepperoni pizza as an added ingredient. You have to have the right kind of cheese. You've got to have the right kind of complementary toppings. And I would have said no to this question until a pizzeria near us that we frequent has a specialty slice with the pineapple on it, and it's fantastic. And I thought, wow, you know, you learn something every day. If it's done right, that's the caveat. If it's done right, pineapple can be good on a pizza.
Definitive answer. I like it very much. I'm a big fan of the pineapple on the pizza. I like mine with jalapeno and ham.
I think ham is part of what was on the slice I ate, and jalapeno sounds like a wonderful ingredient to add. Give it a little kick.
A little something.
That's right.
A little hockey elbow to it.
You know it.
Right. All right, John, I will ask you the same question that I ask all of my guests, and that is, tell us a little bit about your practice and what you love most about working in the resolution industry.
Sure. Well, I've been a lawyer for 32 years, and I've been a mediator for since 2007, 2008. Let's be conservative and say 2008. So, you know, what's that, 12, 14 years. And I kind of went into the mediation sort of near the middle of my litigation career, and that's the type of law I practice, litigation of many types, primarily business disputes, real estate litigation. But through the years, I've handled personal injury on both sides, lots of different things. And I just realized that, you know, the court system in the United States is the worst system in the world, except for all others. Kind of like Churchill said about democracy. Point is, it has its imperfections, it has its ups, it has its downs, it's expensive, it's unpredictable. And I just thought, gosh, there's just got to be a better way than people going to court. And even when they win, if they're unless there's an insurance company involved on the other side, you know, you've got a piece of paper that says you won, and maybe you spend an exorbitant amount of money for that, and you can't collect on it. And so, or the person just goes and files bankruptcy, person or company. So I found that it was difficult to set realistic expectations with clients. As much as you try, people have watched too many TV shows. They have a certain idea about what is going to happen in the courtroom, and everybody's idea of justice is they win, they're fully vindicated, it's cheap, and to the extent the other side pays, they get reimbursed. Well, that's very rare. That's 1 in a 500 cases. And so I matriculated toward mediation and did it out of my law practice for most of the past 14 years, but joined an actual mediation firm last year out of Atlanta called Miles Mediation and Arbitration. And we've got offices. They opened a Jacksonville office, and I was very pleased to be invited to be on the inaugural panel. And they have offices they're out of Atlanta. They have offices in Savannah, oh gosh, Nashville, Charlotte, North Carolina, now Tampa, in addition to Jacksonville and Florida. And it's just more satisfying to be a peacemaker. You know, I can be a zealous advocate when I need to. I believe you can be, you can disagree without being disagreeable. And I try to live by that on the law side of things. But the mediation side of things is much more interesting to me. It's much more satisfying to me, and it involves a completely different skill set. It involves, I'd say, EQ is as, maybe not more important than IQ in mediation. You've got to be able to read people. You've got to be able to empathize. You've got to know that everybody's an individual with they bring a whole set of preconceived notions into a mediation. You've got to have the ability to not just look at the position of the party, but to go behind the position and explore the real interesting concerns. And by doing that, you can generate more options on both sides to help settle the dispute in a manner that is as mutually satisfying as possible to the parties. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that everybody skips out of mediation happy, because they've had to compromise to some extent. But when they think about it, I think it beats the alternative. And a lot of times when those lawyers start asking for those trial retainers, principle fades, and the case is ripe for resolution by agreement.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think that the courts really they view all of this situation as a case. And in mediation, we get to see the situation as the people.
The humans, that's right.
And I think really,
even if it's a company, the rep's a human and is going to have certain feelings, certain, preconceived notions, certain bent. Let's say an insurance defense adjuster, they're going to think everybody's just out for a buck, and they're going to try to, hold the purse strings tight. Some of them, not all. Many are quite fair and offer reasonable compensation given the extent of the injury. But others just come in there with every plaintiff's a greedy plaintiff mentality, and so you have to recognize which you've got, and you deal with each one differently. And so that's fun to me. It's fun.
Yeah, the human component.
At the end of the day, it's very satisfying to reach an agreement that concludes a dispute, and people can then move on with their lives.
So
You know, I tell people, you go to
right.
trial, it's not over when the verdict comes in. There will be post-trial motions. There's the possibility of an appeal. If you're seeking attorney's fees, you don't just magically get everything you've spent. You've got to bring in an expert to testify that it was reasonable. The judge may or may not agree. You may have spent $75,000. Judge may only give you $50,000. And so I try not to knock the system, but I just try to point out to people that it's probably not what they think it is. In our area, you can have a different judge for trial than the one that's presided over your entire case and has made all the rulings and knows the case. They work in pods of 4, and who you get just depends upon who's the busiest and the least busiest. Crapshoot.
Man, oh man, oh man. Well, John McCorvey, thank you so much for joining me for an idle chat. It was a great pleasure to get to know you a little bit.
Well, thank you, but I don't think it would be complete unless you met Fiona, my dog.
Oh, sure. What you got?
Fiona, baby. 1 second.
Mhm.
This is my trusty sidekick, Fiona. And look at the camera, baby.
Fiona.
Fiona, look at that baby. And 2 questions for you, Natalie. What breed is Fiona? And how old would you guess Fiona is?
I'm going to say,
She's, healthy sized cow.
I'm going to say Fiona is a Burmese mountain dog and that she is 8 months old.
Close. Fiona is a Newfie, a Newfoundland, so you were in the right ballpark. It's not quite 6 months old.
Yeah,
60 pounds. So we'll probably have about 120 pounds of dog on our hands when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that's me.
You have a big one?
No, that's a dog that is my size.
Oh, yeah. Good luck walking it. It's very well trained, which none of them are. They're very stubborn dogs. Sweet, but stubborn.
Right. Yeah, we could be buddies. We could walk side by side, but I don't think I should be put in charge of anything that's my same size. That's not it at all.
Very
John,
good.
thanks so much for your
Fiona,
well, thank you.
Most of the day.
I appreciate that. Dogs always make the day better.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much for joining me today, John.
Thank you, Natalie. Have a great day.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.